Welcome to episode 1 of season 2 of Enter the Mind podcast, the most real talk, no nonsense podcast on the empowering of the mind. Season 2, what's in store? Well, first of all, season 1 was pretty awesome, wouldn't you say, Kyra? We covered, as I ask you mid-sip, how rude of me.
Season 1 was fucking ripper. I mean, anybody can go there to literally enter the fucking mind.
I got a lot out of season 1, actually. Believe it or not, from our organic conversations. Our organic conversations always had amazing insights. And I learned a lot about like my own energy. I've just been rocking it this week when it comes to monitoring my own energy as a resource. Like the energy, the non-physical stuff is a resource. And when you react to something that's happening outside of you, when you react emotionally, that is energy. And so energy is a resource, and you can't just give out your resources so freely. So that's the whole recipe for being unreactive. How do you be like less reactive? I mean, that's a common question that I think people in the self-help or psychology fields tend to ask. But anyways, yes, so season 1 was rocking. And so what's in store for season 2? Right? Well, why don't you tell everybody, Kyra, what's in store for season 2?
Well, what's in store for season 2 is we are specifically targeting the successful leaders of our world. Whether you are whether you're like the fucking coach for the Detroit Pistons, they still exist, right?
Of course. But I don't know why you
Okay.
chose Detroit.
My brother loves the Detroit Pistons. Well, he used to when he was younger, so that's how it came into my mind. But,
Yeah, but your
you know,
brother reports for the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm surprised you didn't mention that one.
well, whether you're a coach for the Philadelphia 76ers, whether you are literally fucking super mom, super dad, you are the leader of your family, whether you are the number one leader and CEO of your extremely thriving business, we are here to give you the tools to continue being that leader. Robert and I have realized that being a leader ain't easy. It's fun and it's rewarding, but it's not easy. And we want to give you the tools so that you can thrive even better in this successful leadership role of yours.
Yeah, because I think Kira and I are both dedicated towards growth. And so, I mean, there's only one option here, and that's to grow. And if you're going to grow, that means you're going to take on more things. And if you're going to take on more things, that means your mental game has to be on point. And there's a great quote by Tony Robbins. I hope some of you have heard it already, but it says, the chokehold on the growth or success of any business is the psychology of its leader. It's the psychology of its leader. That is the chokehold on the growth of any business. And it's very true. But at the same time, I would like to say easier said than done, right? I mean, you go into work, that's facing battle. You can talk the talk all you want about, I have a superior mindset, this, that. Let's watch how you react when you face a challenge. When the deadline is here, when the pressure is on, when you have employees and they're quitting, or you need employees and you can't hire anybody, like pressure situations that we all face, right? How do you act? What's your vibration during those moments? I think that's going to tell the truth. That's going to reveal the truth behind all the talk that you talk.
Agreed. And just in this specific spot, I would like to bring up Donald Trump because immediately my mind went to him. You know, like the guy has gone bankrupt more than once. You know, did you see him crying in a fucking hole? I'm bankrupt. No. He got up and he fucking fixed himself. And that, I think, is something that almost all of the great leaders in our world today have. They definitely have that ability to and that kind of mindset that like when something goes wrong, like they're gonna push and they're gonna, climb, and they're gonna, you guys are gonna make it happen. And that's what, number one, that's what we like. And number two, we want to ask, you know what happens when you guys, are paying so much attention to your business and you're really, really thriving, whatever business that is, or you're paying a lot of attention to your family. What happens when you know, something in another area is lacking? Whether that's your physical health, whether that's your mental health, whether that's your social life. Um, a lot of people preach that like there's a lot of stuff that you gotta give up, to be a leader. But I also think that there's a lot of things that you need to remember to keep, and that we are still humans and that we do need these things to survive. Um, yeah.
I think the moments of high pressure, those are the ones that reveal to us the tools that we're missing. Because anyone can go for a walk. Not everyone can run a mile in 6 minutes. So
Hmm.
as you amp up the environment, it will reveal, because there will be a breaking point where your skill set can no longer help you defeat your environment. There comes a point where the truth comes out
Hmm.
and you're like, damn, I can't handle this. That's when it's time to go out and add some tools to your toolbox.
That was really, really great. Yeah, there's a point where your skill set, um, kind of stops working, right? And it reminds me of recently my life, because it's gotten really successful in the past, 6 months to a year. And my life was no longer what it used to be, right? I didn't have much time for myself. I didn't hang out with friends much, and on top of that, I basically needed to form a whole new set of skills. And within that time, I couldn't form them on my own, right? So I had to get an anger management therapist. Why? Because I can no longer manage it on my own. My skill set isn't there anymore. I don't have enough capacity to work on that on my own. So it's like, oh, you go.
That takes some humility to really say like, hey, I need to work on this, especially when it comes to our own minds. I think that people can be stubborn. People can be like, I don't need help with that. Come on, I don't need help with my thoughts, my emotions. I'm fine, right? We all need some assistance. I think it's ongoing. It's, to me, going to go, whether getting a coach, a therapist, whatever. That's like an everyday occurrence, because we need to always coach ourselves. We need to always support ourselves. We need to always evolve each day. And so it's no difference. It's just the difference is you're bringing in somebody else that's like specifically going to focus on that area and get you results faster than you would get if you just randomly did try different things.
uh, I love when like certain words just like completely fucking align, right? So we need to always support ourselves, right? So like that's amazing, right? Like that you can support yourself. Like you can support yourself if you're feeling down, just like you would a good friend. So when you say we need to always support ourselves, right? For the super successful people that are listening right now, you know, in what areas can you not support yourself anymore? Um, really think about it and like really be like, oh wow, like I actually can't support myself in this specific area anymore. And number one, I'm going to need some help with it. And number two, I'm going to have to make it a priority. My business and my family and everything, they're still they're still the priority. But you know what? This is also a priority to me, and I won't be able to be that leader for you. I won't be able to be that, coach for you, that, that dad or mom for you if I don't choose to get help and support in this area that I've neglected. You guys are going to look at me and you're going to say, wow, I mean, they've done great in business, but look at the other areas in their life. That's not somebody that I want to be like. And you got to remember to hold up that leadership role.
I think there comes a point where you got to switch the language around and say, I'm going to be a leader for me and not just be a
Okay.
leader of other people.
Hmm.
Right. And this becomes, we've had some killer episodes during season 1 about the mind and different ways to think of the mind as a house, the mind as an office full of employees that work for you, right? What if anger is an employee in your office and you're the office manager? You've got all these employees. One is happiness, one is anger, one is doubt. Are you gonna let that employee whose name is doubt influence the rest of the office and pull them down? Or are you going to deal with that employee, deal with that doubt the same way you would swiftly and effectively deal with an employee that represented a toxic threat to your organization, to your company?
Yeah, and the funny thing is that's definitely something I've struggled with as well. Y'all know me. You know me, Robert. I'm the quickest one to be like, get this bitch out of here. Like, that motherfucker is ruining the integrity of the business. They're not teaching you, um, they're not helping you. They're not treating you the right way. They're disrespecting you, right? So I'm like, kick that bitch out. Ain't nobody.
I didn't know that. I don't think I've ever seen you do that.
Oh my god, yeah.
You're
I'm
quick.
I'm
You're quick to
about
get the
that.
bad energy out of the room, you're saying.
Oh yeah.
You know what?
Oh yeah.
That kind of reminds me. I was listening to this podcast recently of Barbara Corcoran, the one of the sharks from Shark Tank. She said that she is not that she was happy to fire people, but she said that she does it so quickly because she'll spot a complainer or someone who's being negative, and she knows that a negative person is not likely to change, and then they're going to bring the whole organization or the whole office, the whole environment down. And she said she treats it like she's protecting her young. She's like, I have no problem. She's like, I know on a Monday that on that Friday, or she said something like on a Friday, if I hear of this person that's come up 3 times, their name has been brought up 3 times that they're causing problems, complaining, blah, blah, blah. She goes, I know on Monday morning I'm going to be firing that person, and she doesn't feel bad about it at all.
Yeah.
I thought that was it was pretty neat how Barbara, that whole episode, really what I got out from it was she is so clean with her mind. She's
Mm-hmm.
very clean, very clean. You can hear it in the rhythm of her speech and the way that she story tells. She is swift. She is in pace with reality. She doesn't sit around and doubt. All throughout season 1, we brought to the surface all of these negative thought habits, and she does not do any of them. She's so clean with her thinking. Isn't that amazing?
It's definitely amazing. I love things like that, and I love when a mind is clean like that. Like, my mind for the most part is pretty clean, but like there are times when like my mind is so fucking clean and I'm like, oh, like that shit is so fucking sexy. Like, not only is
So let's talk about that. What does it feel like when the mind is clean? You described it as sexy just now, but
well,
which I like that description, but I don't know. I think we got to paint a full picture here.
I do want to say something, because we did get a little bit off topic, and then we can talk about what a clean mind feels like. But I wanted to say, um, the reason why I brought up that, like, I'm so quick to call out somebody's negative energy and be like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't normally tell them that, but like, I'll walk away, or I'll, provoke their mind. But anyway, in a good way. But what I'm trying to say is, I'm not always that way with myself, right? So it's like, being a successful leader and, having those qualities of being able to kick out those people with negative energy, you got to be able to have it in yourself as well. And I'm sure that you do, to an extent. But I feel like obviously everybody can always get better. So, are you is your inner world matching your outer world with the people that you keep in it, and those employees that Robert is talking about, right? With you know, having your negative employee or your complaining employee, it's like, get out of here. Get out of here. Ain't nobody wants you here. So that's super good. And then going to a clean mind, it reminds me of, there are some days when I'm literally just like so fucking on fire that not a goddamn thing in the fucking world can stop me. And that's what I love. It just feels so fucking aligned. And it's like, there is not one fucking person in this motherfucking world, not the person I'm heading for, not myself, who is going to get in the way of this. And it reminds me of the time that I, went up to Grant Cardone. I was quick. I was sharp. I knew what I wanted. I did not let him leave my sight until I got what I wanted, until I talked to him, until I made my delivery exactly how I wanted to make it. And that's such a good feeling. It's such a good feeling knowing nobody can stop you.
You got a good photo with him. I remember that photo.
I did.
That was dope. But yeah, so you're talking about being like super determined, super focused. That's a great feeling, the unstoppable feeling. I know what you mean because I felt that too at times.
Yeah, right? It's like the best feeling in the world.
Pretty much. So what else do we want to cover today for this first episode?
Well, I think that maybe we can talk a little bit about who our podcast is not for. Um, and I find this really important, because in the beginning of my business 4 years ago, when I started, I thought I wanted to work with people who were uncommitted, who couldn't stick to anything, who weren't that intelligent, things like that. And oh my God,
Wait, you wanted to work with them, you're saying?
yeah, because I wanted to help them. I wanted to help people like that. I wanted to bring them out of that, right? But
Okay, interesting.
yeah, and what I realized is that those people were fucking draining as hell. Draining as hell. Um, I'm not here to I'm not here to work with a fucking complainer, a little whiny fucking, oh woe is me victimhood fucking person. Like, that's just not what I'm here for. Right? And like, you're not here for that either, right? I mean, you want to coach people and mentor people who are intelligent, who want to do the work, who see you as somebody who can help them move forward as a successful leader in life, right? Like, you don't want somebody who's going to be doubting you here, doubting you there. Uh, you know, we're giving them tasks and they're not doing them. It's like, we don't want people like that. Like, we are speaking to the people who are committed. We are speaking to the people who want that beautiful life, who want to live a freedom life of authenticity and, you know, lots of money and things like that. And yeah, you take it.
There's something to be said for self-selection. I just recently joined a group that has a monthly fee attached to being in the group. And of course, part of me, as anybody would be like, right? Would say, well, I don't know, is this really worth it? Like, why do I have to pay just to like be in some sort of social group? I can go make friends anywhere, right? But what I realized in just 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks, I realized, hang on, this is a different caliber of people I'm around. That I'm already am talking to one guy that's moving to the Bay Area soon, and I, looked at what he's got on his Instagram. He's got a lot going on. We already have a something set up for when he visits, right? So this is really cool because I think you get what I'm saying. Like, I can tell the difference in mindset because I'll tell you who's not in this group that has this monthly fee attached to it. The people who are like, well, I don't want to spend money on this, well, I don't think it's going to work. I don't think the people where
Yes.
in their mind, the president of that company in their mind is the naysayer in their mind, where they have allowed the most toxic individual in their office to be promoted and promoted and promoted into the top. And that toxic person in their mind, that toxic voice, if you will, is the one running the show. And I can say that because I've been there. I've dedicated myself to self-help for the last 20 years. And I have come from a position of massive hesitation, massive doubt, extreme conservative thinking. Well, I don't know if I want to try this because I don't think it'll work. Awful, awful place to be in. My heart goes out to anyone who's caught in that position. But hey, you really got to grow if you want to blossom as a human being on planet Earth. Self-help is the path.
Snap. That
Crackle pop.
that was the best shit I've ever fucking heard in my life. And I think that number one, you've been coming up with a lot of gold this episode, and number two, what was I gonna say? Oh, so that's why I'm so passionate about like people's missions on earth, right? Like, why do you think like a business has their mission statement? You guys have your mission statement in your business so that way your employees can know what the mission is. And the employee who understands the mission the most will be risen to, the head bitch, the head dude, right? And it's like if you don't know your mission in your own self, like if you don't know your soul's mission, if you don't know your life's mission, you are going to let your naysaying, inner employee rise to the head bitch, rise to the head dude. You got to understand your mission in life in order for that, that best inner employee to come out and be like, I'm running the fucking game now. I'm in charge. We're doing this.
Totally. So I know we're on a roll here, but hey, time is ticking. So how do we wrap this up in a way that benefits us all? Shall we do a power question like we did season 1?
Yeah, definitely. I love those.
All right, so we'll each throw one out. What would be a good power question for people to ask themselves?
I think that the number one question to ask yourself would, I think, be that I think two questions. So, in what ways are you not able to support yourself right now? If you're feeling down or you're feeling crummy about like the other areas in your life that are not doing so well, um, you know, are you supporting yourself in those areas? Or are you talking down to yourself as if like it's a bad fucking thing or something? Like, it happens to everybody. This is life. It happens. So like, in what ways are you not able to support yourself right now, and in what ways can you offer yourself more support, whether that's from you, like emotionally, and like taking some time for yourself, or whether that's seeking outside help, and Yeah. And then
That's a great theme right there. You had another piece.
I did. And then I think that that other question was really, really gold. You know, who is the head president of your inner self? And do you know your soul's mission? You know, is the arrogant employee in charge? Is the, uh, what's like another word for arrogance, but it's not like, is the ignorant you? You know, did you rise the position of the ignorant you inside? um you know, who is that head bitch, who is that head president? And you can, you know, help do that by figuring out your soul's mission.
Yeah, sort of a theme that I heard in all of that was how we relate to our own minds and how do we relate to our thoughts, right? That was one of the key insights that I took away from season one is relating to thoughts as if they are not me. They are here. They are out here, outside. And how do I treat this the same way that I would treat or interact with a 5-year-old child of yours, right? You probably remember this from one of our episodes there, right? The mind as a 5-year-old child, right? If a 5-year-old child spills its ice cream and is crying and is upset, right? You're not going to go down this huge road of energy leaks and just be completely defeated by this. Yet
Yeah.
we could let one of our very own emotions, such as anxiety, defeat us and really take a hold of us and just throw us left and right. Something that we would never allow our 5-year-old child to do. Like we would not allow our 5-year-old child to grab us by the neck and just swing us left, right, left, right. So that's the takeaway, I think, is how do we relate to the mind in a way where it's like, okay, that's an interesting emotion I'm having. What am I going to do about it? Versus, oh no, I'm anxious. And all of a sudden you're already identifying with the emotion and you're saying, I am anxious, as if it's your identity. And as if it's permanent or yeah. So no, it's a temporary state. It's like a person in the room. And so how do you deal with any person in the room? You have a set of tools. So there we go. We have a lot in store for season 2 here. I look forward to it already. And we're already underway. So lots of tools. If any of you have specific situations that you'd like us to comment on or dive into, whether it comes up in running your company, running family matters, or running whatever sort of large organization or enterprise that you're in charge of, feel free to let us know. You can message us through Instagram. You can comment on the videos. And all right, thank you all for watching and listening. We'll see you next week.